Good morning. I am excited to get you started on your research. Okay, and so sorry. So this week we're digging into research, and today we're going to look at what racial profiling is in detail, talk about the research process. I'm going to give you a lot of sources for you to consider and some places to look for others. And I'm also going to encourage you to put some of the other chapters of Whistling Vivaldi into, or information from those chapters into your essay. And I've actually pulled some quotes even for you and made some points that I'd like you to review to consider using if possible. Okay, so I want to make sure we're really clear about what racial profiling is before we get into the research. So it is a discriminatory practice by law enforcement officials or their agents. So this could be someone who acts in a place of authority to target individuals on suspicion of a crime based on race, ethnicity, religion, national origin. And they can come to that conclusion based on clothing, skin color, a variety of things, and behavior as well. But they use the race part as a way to make that judgment. A person in authority may also act as an agent. So these are the other areas like department store, pilot, neighborhood watch, rep, like George Zimmerman, things like that. So this is different from criminal profiling. So I want to be very clear about this. So when the police receive a call or information about a crime that has been committed, they use that information to help look for that person. So this normally results in good policing because they have distinct information, they can find the person quickly, apprehend them, and not have these other problems. So this is also what people use, police officers or criminologists use to analyze behavior psychologically to kind of decide who's going to be potential suspect. But most cops aren't trained in the deep psychological aspects of criminal behavior. Most of the time it's like, let's look for this person, their gender, their height, their race, or clothing. If a crime has been committed, this is legitimate and they have good information, good intelligence about where to find that person and what to do. That's different from what we're talking about here. Okay, so there's different types of racial profiling, and this list is really important for you because you're going to be choosing probably from this list or something similar that you can come up with for your research paper. So you need to narrow your paper. You can't just do general profiling. So you need to narrow it to either for people who are walking down the street in neighborhood, U.S. border immigration. There's laws that have been passed and policies that are impacting people of color there. Primarily Latino, in a car or driving while black and brown. So in a car is different in some of the policies than on the street and walking. Also in airports, because then you have the idea of terrorism, but you also have the idea of TSA and their training, and then you're looking primarily of folks of Middle Eastern origin. In stores while shopping, that's another area, although there's less research about that. And then at schools. So high schools now often use resource officers. These are police officers. Sometimes, depending upon the state, the training is very different than a typical police officer, though they have a weapon and they are on campus. And so there's a lot of new research coming out regarding that effect on students and profiling that happens there. Okay, so there's an online discussion, hopefully you've participated in that asks you some of these questions and to see like what have you responded. We need to look at our bias. Personally, like I have family in law enforcement and I also have family who've been victims of this as well, so I've seen both sides. But you can be impacted by that. And we should know before you write. Okay, here's the prompt, 7 to 8 pages, MLA format. You want to really dig into kind of focus your research, not just on one topic, but then also dig into like some aspect of it. You know, where does this come from? What are the effects? What are the ethics behind it? You could look at the legality. So you're probably going to have between 5 to 8, maybe a few more sources depending upon how you use them. your conclusion should look at solutions and alternatives for racial profiling, okay? And you should have some sort of side you take, though you don't have to use and probably shouldn't use first person, no I statements, but you should kind of move your audience towards understanding and a perspective you've adopted in this process. And again, your views might change as you go. Okay, so what's the process? You're going to choose a topic focus after you do the online discussion. You're going to watch the videos, read the initial sources, and take a lot of notes on those. Keep track of your sources, bookmark them, print them out, highlight them so you keep them in order. Research some doing the library database, and I'm going to show you in a second where that's at. It's actually on Canvas. One of them says library resources. That takes you directly to Foothill's library database where you can do a search. Write the annotated bibliography on 5 sources. So, and I'm going to show you how to do that as well. I'm going to give you a sample here. Write a topic outline, a working thesis, and more detailed one after you add that. Insert your sources into the outline. It's a really important step. And then from there, start actually drafting, okay? And proofread. Okay, so this is the link I've given you for the library for Foothill, but it's also in the Canvas as one of the links under like assignments and modules. It's there too. I'm going to show you later how to do the search. Okay, so a couple of other sources. Whistler and Vivaldi, chapters 5 through 9. 9 includes solutions. Chapter 4 we're skipping. That's kind of about like the idea of racial passing, which doesn't really connect to what we're doing here. But 5 through 8 has these relevant theories. I'm going to show you more about that in a minute. There's a great Frontline video about policing the police with Jelani Cobb, and that brings up a lot of interesting issues. And then some periodicals or sources. 2 need to be peer-reviewed research from journals. Okay, so what could you do with Vivaldi? You could explain, like in one of these chapters, how the bridge test at the beginning of chapter 7. You could explain how that has other applications. You could look at how blood pressure impacts behavior, how if there's more of one race or less, how that impacts, and then looking at how setting can impact. Another source is the 13th documentary on Netflix. If you have access to this, I highly recommend you watch this before you write your paper. The focus is incarceration, but the backbone of it is racial profiling, and it's central to the discussion. It's really good. There's a lot of people interviewed on, a lot of conservatives, liberals, different groups, and I think it gives a great understanding about kind of these issues we're getting at behind racial profiling. Oh, here's the actual link for the Frontline video in case you need it. Jelani Cobb is the narrator. He's a professor that's also in 13th. Here's 2 videos that could be helpful for you if you're going to do the school resource option. These are both of the same county videos about resource officers, and they're fairly recent. I think they kind of give 2 different perspectives on what can happen with resource officers. Okay, the annotated bibliography. So this bibliography is not turned in with your final draft. Your final draft will just have a works cited page, but it's a part of the process of writing. Each entry has 4 parts: a full MLA citation, summary in your own words, evaluation of your source, like why is this source recent? Is the author well known? Is the study really strong? Is there a lot of participants in the study? Is it thorough? Why is it valid? And then application. How are you going to use it in your essay? Are you going to use it to prove a point? And if so, which point? Here's an example one from a student from last quarter. I don't know why the EBSCO host has its own bullet. It shouldn't, and you don't need to bullet any of this. But this has a summary of what the article is about. It has a little bit about how the information is valid, and then sort of what it will help this person prove. Now, this, you can do it single space like this if you want, and you can put it all in one big paragraph like this if you want to. And you should have 5 of these for your annotated bibliography. So it's about, 3.5 pages worth of work if you do it single spaced. Okay, then the second step is to choose your third step is to choose your outline. So kind of I should say choose, not chose. I'll fix that in a second. Choose your outline, or choose your audience, decide how agreeable or hostile they'll be, order your points, and evaluate. So are you trying to persuade people who are who've never lived in these neighborhoods that have this happen to them? Are you trying to persuade, cops that there are a problem? Are you trying to persuade parents? Kind of think about if you have a specific audience for this. How educated are they, and how hostile? Remember how if they're more hostile, the more you have to use logic. The more agreeable they are, the more you can use pathos or emotional response. Okay, so I'm going to give you some samples here. So let's say I did this first topic outline, but it was very basic. Racial profiling in high schools. And that's just topic, that's not a thesis. Background, my questions are, when did it start? Why isn't it effective? Then what's the training? I wanted to know that. What's going on with school safety? And are children of color targeted? So my first revision would look like this. Let me come up with a claim. High school resource officers should be minimally used, highly and specifically trained, and not report solely to local police department. And then I fleshed out some of those sub-points you can look over, okay? The second revision, I added more to my thesis. Since the presence of resource officers has proven to disproportionately impact students of color. Now I found that out after researching, right? Then you can say resource officers should be minimally used, and then go on from there. So my third revision for this point I make is I decide, okay, I'm going to use an anecdotal story. I'm going to give some background on how resource officers are being used and why. I'm going to give some stats about the criminalization of children of color, because I need to convince people with facts. I'm going to talk about the problems with resource officers, their training, who they report to, concerns about school safety. I want to add an opposing opinion about people feel safer with someone with a gun at school. Okay. Then I'll do the school's lack of counselors, but they're invested in officers. Maybe that should be changed. And then I'll give some solutions. Okay. So that would be like, if I had this, I could start writing my paper. I would probably from here start putting in my sources, and then from there add in like topic sentences. And again, that's what that would look like with the source information. And do a lot of save as's when you write your draft. Don't write your outline and then start over with a blank page. I would like take your outline and do a save as first draft, and then do the second. Like keep writing from there and keep saving versions of it as you go, but change the file name. Oh, sorry, we're not taking a break. Okay, so a couple things in there. Oh, I have some quotes here for you. So I pulled some quotes that I thought could be used in this essay, okay, that could be helpful. Here's one: talking to a black stranger compared with talking to a white stranger should put white participants at a greater risk of being seen stereotypically as perhaps racially insensitive. And if this stereotype threat causes anxiety, these participants should have higher blood pressure. This is really good because it kind of shows the proof of like what they were thinking about and what happened in their study, and how that could impact interactions with people of authority, like people with cops and versus people of color on the street and such. Another one, identity threats of constant presence. Another one, big implication of the Crozet's team's findings is that a mind trying to defeat a stereotype leaves little mental capacity for doing anything else. There's a famous case where a cop from several years ago, where a kid was reaching for his insurance card in the glove box and got shot by a cop. So like when you're heightened, it doesn't leave a mental capacity for like thinking if you're heightened because of racial stereotypes. And then they found these changes through brain scans. This was about math. It was something about math, but it kind of shows through brain scans that there is a chemical and like biological change in the brain when you're under stereotype threat. And then this was another quote that we have to create a narrative to kind of be in certain situations so that we understand people and understand ourselves. Another one, you need to be around people who make you feel safe from these. so you can be successful. And so what happens if we can't be? And so these are the points I think that you could definitely come up with. I've